ready for some football?
Love y'all, boys. Love you. Love you. I'll go to war with every single one of you every game, all right?
Love you, 1-7.
Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Win.
Yeah. Please tell me that I can't, that I won't, that I fail, that I'll never make it out, yeah. Please tell me all the bad, never good, fill my head full of every single doubt, yeah. Please say any negative thoughts, I pop off when I hear people say I cannot. I get off to the thought of proving everyone wrong, I won't stop to the top, so you better back off and get lost. I'ma stay loud, stay proud, never running out, never heading south. I'll be spreading out, call it word of mouth, can't put me down, I'll be getting loud. You can have your doubts, not what I'm about, have your fucking clout. It be raining now, I keep making sound, go another round, bitch I'm legend bound, can't stop me now. You don't wanna fuck with me, a slow burn like a disease. Just tell me that I can and I'll show you things that you couldn't believe. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can.
It's showtime.
Welcome to Friday Night Lights on the Mafia Sports Report channel. I am Tommy, and next to me is my main man, Mr. Mikey, also known as the Apex Man. Mr. Mikey, what is up? Happy Friday to you. Happy Friday to Bills Mafia. We're here.
Friday,
it's Friday. Man, Mikey.
Friday. Guess what?
Take a deep
The rookies reported.
Yes,
They reported.
They did. What's that sound? What's that sound? Football.
That's training camp. Training camp's here. Training camp's here.
That's right.
Awesome.
That's right.
Awesome.
I can. We're right around the corner. Right around the corner for preseason and right around the corner for regular season. So, man, a couple things at the news, by the way, this week, and I'm sure you're going to get to it because that's your segment.
Yeah.
Go ahead with the Mr. Foltz. I know his birthday's coming up. He's been talking about
25 tomorrow. He's going to Chicago to see Earth, Wind, and Fire. That should be a fun time.
Ooh, Earth, Wind, and Fire. Okay, 25 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Going to watch Earth, Wind, and Fire. Man, okay. So you're liking the old school. I like that.
That's amazing.
Good for you, brother. Good for you. So
happy
birthday. I know you've been talking about that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man, what a week this has been because, a lot of talk throughout the league about pretty much a lot of players like Hill and the Dolphin situation going over there. It's still going on with the contract situation. I have no idea what's going on. Also, Brandon Ayuk. I'm sure you're going to get all into this, Mikey, but a lot of interesting stuff this week. And then, of course, the Josh Allen, where an executive came out and said he's underrated.
Anonymously said he's
anonymous.
Overrated.
And, man, everybody.
Was like,
I don't know if anyone did anyone agree? Did anyone agree with that?
Nick Wright. Nick Wright's the only one.
Okay. Of course, Nick Wright would agree with that. By the way, Colin Cowherd, love that dude. Colin Cowherd said something so good, and I was like, man, that makes it makes so much sense. He said that he'd rather have what is it? He said he's an awful thing to tell your kids in life is to play it safe. Don't elevate others. Don't take big swings. Be paralyzed by any mistake.
Yeah.
And that's great. Like he made a great point there because that's what Allen does. Listen, man, you're going to make mistakes when you take chances, but if you don't take chances in life, then you know what? You may never get the big home run. You may never get the ultimate prize, So a lot of guys take big swings. Sometimes you miss, sometimes you hit. But listen, man, if you tell your kids to play it safe all the time, then it is what it is. Go ahead.
It is. Damian Woody, who is a notorious Josh Allen basher during the season, saying that, he needs to cut out the turnovers, came out and said, this guy is tripping. I'm hard on Josh. That's what he said. He's like, but he's still a top 3 quarterback in this league. What are we talking about? And then Dan went on.
Wild,
Dan Orlovsky went on his tangent, and it was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Scott,
it is crazy.
Paid off by
it is
Nick
crazy.
Wright.
Stats. I mean, listen, I'm not like. I will say this about I'm weird when it comes to stats because sometimes stats don't always paint
Tell
the
the
picture.
truth. Yeah.
Right. They don't always like, so I don't want to be that guy where like, hey, look at his stats. But they do sort of tell the story as well. You know what I mean? Like, it don't tell the whole story, but it tells sort of a story. So Josh Allen, for what he's done in this league, especially over the last 4 years, is remarkable. And to me, like I said, once again, though, it's not always about the stats. Just watch this dude play football. Stop just looking at the stats all the time, going turnovers, oh, this and that. Watch this dude play football. Yeah. Sit down and actually watch his film. But they're not going to. They're just going to see. And listen, I get it. Allen makes mistakes. He's not perfect. He makes some boneheaded decisions. But so do a lot of other quarterbacks. And so do a lot of the great Hall of Fame quarterbacks in their career. They've made boneheaded decisions. That's the NFL. That's what the greats do. They take chances in life. So I don't know. I just feel like a lot of these guys, they don't watch.
Yeah. Peyton Manning was mocked for his interceptions until he won his Super Bowl. And then they stopped talking about it. You know, John Elway was considered a choker until he won his Super Bowls. You know, it's what they do. And then once you get there and win it, they stop talking about it. It's crazy.
That's what it's going to take. I mean, at the end of the day,
that's what it's going to take for Josh Allen to get his due. Is they're going to have to win the Super Bowl. But here's the thing: the quarterback's not always the reason you win the Super Bowl. Josh Allen played about as good as you possibly could that 1 year, and they still lost in the divisional round. You know?
Yeah, football is so. I think football, like, listen, obviously basketball, baseball, team game, but I think football takes so much to win a Super Bowl compared to the other sports, in my opinion. Like in basketball, you can have like a LeBron James with a subpar team and get to the finals. You know what I mean? Because you got this superstar player. Like, it's just different. In football, you got two sides. You got defense, you got offense, you got all these different coaches that play a big time role in getting that team to the Super Bowl and winning the Super Bowl. So it's a team, big time. NFL is a team game. It takes so much. And then the injuries on top of that you got. So yes, like some of the greats don't have Super Bowl rings because of that.
Dan Marino.
It's very tough. Yeah.
Dan's considered one of the greatest throwers. Yeah. But Dan Marino was considered the greatest thrower of a football.
Absolutely.
You know,
absolutely, he was.
He doesn't have,
in my opinion, he was. Yeah.
You know,
exactly. So there's running backs, there's receivers.
Yeah.
Yes, Barry Sanders to me, greatest running back ever. No Super Bowl. The guy that just got into the other Lions receiver, Chad Johnson. Man, that dude was so dynamic.
Oh, you're Calvin
no Super Bowls. He even gets a
Chad Johnson.
Calvin Johnson. Sorry, not Chad Johnson.
Chad Johnson was
well. Chad Johnson wore the jacket.
Yeah,
he said he was going to get it before. Not as good as Calvin, though. Calvin was the man.
Yeah.
But my point is, it's the ultimate team sport that and everything has to go right.
Yeah.
At the same time, you get what I mean? Because you could have this dynamic team set in place, and things just don't go right during that course of a season. Yeah. Injuries, this happened, that, and before you know it, you're done, right? So you know it's easier said than done, man.
Dynamic team set in place. You can have the lead with 13 seconds, and you watch Travis Henry run up the middle of the field and no one cover him. Or Travis Kelce. I said Travis Henry because we were just talking about him.
Travis Kelce.
We were talking about middle of the field. We were just talking about Henry. But Travis Kelce running up the middle of the field. Deb's going to the blue and red. That's amazing. That's going to be fun. Go see the team.
Awesome. Good for you.
Yeah, that's amazing.
I always do a video on that. Those are fun, man. Yeah.
I'm excited for you on that one because this is the most excited I've been about our team in a while. Like, I knew what our team was the last couple of years because we kept running it back. This is the first time we really made some major changes. Like, I'm excited to see what the team's going to look like. Because I knew what our score was.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm like, can these guys finally get over the hump? And then every year they break my heart. I'm like, okay, I'm kind of done seeing the same guys break my heart over and over.
Yeah, I am a little surprised that Bean hasn't signed anyone. since going into camp yet, but I have a weird feeling, man. He's just I think Bean's gonna be very hands-on when it comes to training camp. Like he's going to really evaluate the roster big time, more than ever before.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's going to make decisions on who's still out there in free agency. Because if he likes the roster, let's say he goes to the first week, first 2 weeks of training camp, and he's thinking, I don't need anyone. Like maybe he feels like these guys are actually playing good football. The rookies are stepping up. They're looking sharp. He may not go and get a receiver. He may not go get a safety. He may just save that money for in case of injury. Yeah, like
still out there.
I know. I just have a feeling that's what I almost feel like that's what he's going to do. He's going to just really evaluate what he has during camp and then make his decision there. After
I think
maybe the first week.
After the first preseason game. I think that's when.
Yep.
If he's going to go and get someone, it's going to be after the first. He's going to have all of camp. He's going to see what they do in the game and be like, I don't like this.
He's going to evaluate everybody.
And from a safety standpoint, I think it's either going to be bringing back Micah or trying to get Justin Simmons. So one of the two.
Yeah, who's still floating out there. Still floating out there. Yep. So I mean, but it's somebody mentioned it in Twitter. He's what is he, 30? He's up there in age, right? He's
30.
getting up there in age.
But
so like somebody was saying, like if we're trying to get younger.
But we had two safeties who were 30 that were all pros in this defense.
No, I get it. I totally understand. But what would you offer him is what I'm saying. At that age, what would you be comfortable with?
I'd give him a 2-year deal,
right? Like
I would look at it like a 2 or 3-year deal with a 2-year with the out after the second year, because you need to be able to spread the money a little bit.
That sounds about right.
Yeah,
because
if they
for me,
sign him to a 3-year, I wouldn't sign him to a 1-year deal unless it was for like just him like ring chasing. But if he was going to do that, there's other teams that are a little bit set up a little bit better.
Absolutely.
Because say what you want about the Bills. The Bills are in a semi retool. Now, that retool could lead to something huge because they're all talented, but we don't know what they are yet.
Right.
We good right now? Yeah, I'm with you on that, Scott. We're good right now. If weaknesses or concerns prevail during camp, then you pursue somebody. And I think a lot of guys are going to be sitting like that for a while. They'll be sitting out there until after that first preseason game. That's usually when you'll see guys sign. So
yeah, like I said, man, I think it's gonna either be after a couple of weeks of training camp or that first preseason game.
It would have to be really bad if it happens in the first couple weeks of training camp. Like he might.
I mean, really injuries too. Injuries.
Yep, injuries can play.
Injuries in camp could take. Yeah, it could take.
I mean, look at Mike Edwards.
Take a factor in it.
All of OTAs because of injuries. We don't even know what Mike Edwards is
exactly so.
in this defense. DeMar's been running in that spot. So.
Yep.
Okay, so let's go around the league. Kenyon Drake announced his retirement. Remember him?
Running back, correct?
Yeah. Yep.
Or no?
Yep.
For the Dolphins, right? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, he had that. Was that the guy? That was the running back that had potential, right? He had like a good season. Didn't he have one good season? Yeah. And he just fell off the map, right?
He had one really good season, had a great half of the season, got hurt, and was never the same after.
Right, and somebody picked him up. I forget who picked him up. They were excited to get him, and he just
Miami.
No, but he went somewhere else. Wasn't he?
Yeah,
then
he went to Baltimore.
I thought somebody picked him up.
Then he went to Baltimore.
Yeah, he just didn't. He just never could find his way.
What's going on,
so he finally retired, huh? Wow.
Yep, he retired. He officially retired.
Yeah.
The Chiefs. Did you hear about what's going on with the Chiefs and their stadium thing? They're gonna in 6 months. They're gonna announce their plan on if they're gonna stay or go. They're talking about moving.
Wow, and they've been an Arrowhead for a minute.
Yeah.
Damn.
The Ravens signed 2-time Pro Bowler Eddie Jackson, the safety.
I did see that. Yep.
Yeah.
Was it a 1-year deal, right? I think it was a 1-year deal.
Yep.
That's a good pickup. I didn't want him. So, if I didn't think he'd fit here.
Yep. Lamar Jackson is disputing Troy Aikman's trademark for the number 8.
What happened now?
Lamar Jackson is disputing in court Troy Aikman's trademark of number 8.
So wait a minute.
Troy
So
Aikman
Troy Aikman
trademarked
has
the number
the
8.
number 8.
Number 8. Yeah,
Really?
trademarked.
I had no
and
idea.
Lamar Jackson
Okay.
is disputing it.
So I never noticed that. So there's no number 8s in football?
No, there's number 8s in football, but like and on merch and things like that, like the trademark of it.
Oh. Interesting. But that's weird. Like,
why would
so wait a minute.
So
So
get a number 8 trademark?
how's that possible though?
I don't know.
Yeah, but Lamar wears 8.
Yeah. So he
right.
could
So
be
if he sells a
LJ8.
shirt, does that portion
Aikman
go?
could be TA8, like JA17.
Yeah, that's odd.
TB12.
That's really odd.
Like, it is.
That is odd.
Yeah,
I never heard of that. I didn't know you could. I didn't know you could trademark a number. Trademark a number.
They're in court battling, Scott, right now. So it's all over ESPN over the trademark of the number 8. So I didn't fully dig into.
I had no idea. I had no idea that was a thing. I had no idea. We need to start trademarking any number available. That means.
You know what? I will
get a number now and trademark.
I will tell you one thing,
just in case.
CJ Stroud
17. I'm trademarking 17 right now. Alan's screwed, man.
I'll trademark 69. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
CJ Stroud has been talking so much this offseason. He better have a huge year. He called the
is he talking trash?
Texans offense a 5-headed monster. He said he's the second best quarterback in the league. The only quarterback he even looks at and models, would even watch is Patrick Mahomes. Like he's been doing like a press tour with Dallas's pass rusher Micah Parsons. And
give me one moment, Mikey. Talk to the crowd.
Okay, it's crazy. Like as much crap as that guy's been spewing out there, Allen needs to trademark 17. I think he's already trademarked JA17, which makes sense. But man, it's crazy. And then lastly, Tommy, there is a trade request coming out of San Francisco. Brandon Ayuk isn't getting what he wants.
Yes.
And
I heard this. I heard this.
They are not going to trade him. But now they're popping back up the whole, will they trade Debo and re-sign Brandon Ayuk? Because Debo's older and has injury history. Ayuk doesn't. What do you think?
It's interesting. I of course our name's going to get thrown into the hat.
We're not paying $30 million for a receiver again. It's not happening.
But we're not.
If we were going to do that, we would have kept Steph.
Just erase that thought out of your head. Now, listen, anything can happen, but I just don't see it happening. Would I be upset about it? No, because that would be a really crazy 3-man. I mean, let's say it is Ayuk, could be Ayuk and Shakir and Coleman. That'd be a tough group of receivers, but I can't see it happening. I don't see Brandon Beane going down that hole again with a receiver. I think if it's going to happen, it's going to be a guy he drafts next time. So if let's say Keon Coleman turns out to be what we all, hope him to be, then Keon Coleman will be the guy that gets paid.
And
I don't know if
it'll
it's
be
going
5
to be
years from now or 4 years from now because he doesn't have the 5th-year option.
I don't see him doing it again. I mean, I could be wrong. I could totally be wrong, but I just don't see him doing it
either. I don't think Brandon Beane and Sean McDermott look at the wide receiver and say, okay, we want to pay $30 million a year for a guy. I just don't see it.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. George, go Bills. Always go Bills. And then lastly, did you see the Hard Knock stuff with the Giants? It's like
I only watched the episode one. I haven't watched, but I heard it's getting a lot of. I've been hearing. I got to catch up because I've been hearing a lot of talk about how they handled the Saquon Barkley thing and
when he was talking with them.
I only saw episode 1.
Just cringy. Like I just
Yeah,
watched a bunch
so
of clips of it.
I mean,
Of the
this is
cringy
good
stuff.
for it's good for me to for us to watch because Hard Knocks. I didn't watch all last year, so if it's that interesting, I'm definitely tuning
Like
in. You know what I mean?
it
Just to
really
see
gives you like the true behind the scenes crap. But with the way Joe Shane was talking about
Right.
the whole fake one stuff, and then that anonymous GM coming out talking about Josh Allen, like the media is like, how do you trust these front office guys? What the hell is going on in the front office?
Yeah, who knows?
Like, I feel bad because I love Joe Shane. He's one of Buffalo's guys. You know what I mean? And it makes him look so bad. I want Brandon Beane to never do Hard Knocks. I do not need us to look like clowns in the media.
No, I don't think that. The only way that would ever happen, bro, I'll be honest with you, and it could, Mikey, it could down the road, is if the NFL forces every team to do one each season. And don't trust me when I tell you it could happen because the NFL loves getting paid. They love putting their shows out there. I mean, look, Netflix #1 show right now is the receivers about the NFL receivers. So, you know what I mean? Like NFL's huge right now. So I wouldn't put it past the NFL, just like they're doing on the European stuff, where they're having teams go pretty much mandatory. You don't have you can't say no. So right now, of course, it's by whoever wants to do, what. But I could see definitely in the future teams having to do it. And what are you going to do? You have to do it. So if the NFL tells you have to do it, there's going to be no other choice.
Like some of the stuff that's got out there, though,
I could see it.
Why would they approve that to go out? Like
maybe it's I don't know. Well, remember it's the TV show, right? They don't. It's who is it right now? It's HBO, right? HBO Max. Yeah.
Yeah, but they said that on Hard Rocks that the team gets final approval of what's actually put out. Like I wouldn't.
Maybe they didn't feel like it was that bad.
Oof. Oof.
Mikey,
you going to the Bills and Rams game in December? No way. I'll have to look at that. It's the day after my birthday. I might have to go spend I want to spend my birthday in LA. That's the question.
Cali Blitz, are you going? Is the question. I mean, you're in Cali as well. So, are you going to the game against the Rams?
It might be a fun game to go to too.
Hell yeah, dude. The Rams. That would be that's going to be a shootout.
Nice. Squish the fish. Absolutely.
Okay.
I'll have to see how that plays out. I might drive down for the weekend, watch the Bills play.
How far of a trip is that for you?
About 6 hours, 6.5 hours.
Like, what would that take?
Like 6.5 hours.
California's a big state. I forgot how big it is.
Yeah. I mean, I could always hop on a flight and be there in like an hour and a half.
An hour, yeah.
Like Southwest. Southwest, hour and a half.
6 hours. Yeah,
it depends. If we go down, I might do something else with my family while I'm down there. And then I'll go to the game. Maybe take my wife and my daughter.
You could always get an Uber.
Yeah. Or drive,
Or rent a car,
Yeah.
Interesting. Mikey has decisions to make in December.
I'll find out. Maybe I might go to that. I'll let you know, Callie. I'll let you know if I'm gonna go. I've gone to so many like sporting events that I don't enjoy going to them as much. Like if I was gonna go, I don't know if I would want to go to LA. I think I'd want to go to Buffalo and actually like watch a game in Buffalo. Like I enjoy watching them at home by myself.
I'll definitely go to the new stadium when tickets aren't so expensive. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, the first year or two is gonna be very hard to get to a game. Like it's gonna be difficult, and the tickets that are gonna be sold are gonna be pricey. So I'll have to really either get a great deal or have to wait a year. You know what I mean? So because that first year especially is gonna be packed, I think. 2026.
When I go, I'll get you a ticket, and you just get to Buffalo with me, and we'll go together. Because I'm gonna go when the new stadium opens too.
I mean, it's a 4-hour drive. Dude, I got to right. Like that because I've been to the Ralph. Like I went there in Josh's rookie year, and so I'm glad I went. It was my only time I went. to Buffalo, and at least I could say, hey, I went to the old stadium before it got torn down, right? So, and I got to see Josh Allen's rookie year, so it's pretty cool, you know.
I've driven Buffalo to Orlando a few times. Take the drive; it's always worth it. Yeah, you know, I mean, the drive in California, you know, it's like a 6.5 hour drive. If I'm going to go with my family, I'll absolutely do it. You know what I mean? Down to LA. But if it's just going to be me, I might just hop on a flight if I go. Tickets are expensive right now. Imagine the new stadium. Tickets are expensive today. Once they're in
That's what I'm
season,
saying.
you can get them much cheaper. Like people are like,
That
I
is
can't
true,
go.
too.
They
So
put them out
people-
there. You know, people resell them.
Yeah.
And they're not looking. And that's one thing about Bills Mafia. They don't, you know, price gouge if they're selling the Bills Mafia. I've noticed that through the years.
I just wouldn't want a shit seat. But now, mind you, the new stadium, I got to see the layout. Like I've know because some stadiums
My
you can
understanding, the 3D
not-
look isn't.
not
nice.
every
It's
seat's bad.
Yeah, like this new one.
Okay.
The
Okay.
model that they showed, like it's on YouTube. You can find
Right.
it. Like there isn't a bad seat.
There's
in the
like
house.
no nosebleeds.
No.
Okay, good. See, that's good.
Like every
All right.
angle is a good seat. 19 straight out.
When I went to the
Orlando.
Lions,
Yikes! That's a
when I went to the Detroit game, well, no, I'm sorry. When I went to Lions Stadium, Ford Field, when the Bills played the Browns, I had great seats, dude. I mean, they were phenomenal, bro. I was basically, I don't know, like 10 rows up. I mean, I was so close. I was like 5 steps down. You know what I mean? Like I was right there. I felt like I was on the field. That's the kind of seats like I enjoy. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm going to go to a game, I just hate not seeing the play. You know what I mean? Like, can't stand that. That's why I like watching most of my stuff at home. You know what I mean? But yeah, I'll go. Definitely. I'm definitely going to go regardless, but I'll go.
Yeah. Cali's like in my neck of the woods. I live just outside Sacramento. I live in Citrus Heights.
Oh, okay.
So like me and Cali are
There you
actually
go,
close.
Callie. Maybe y'all, if you do wind up going, maybe y'all meet up.
Yeah. You're gonna drive down. That's awesome. So, all right, Tommy, that's around the league.
All right. So let's. I do got some. So by the way, guys, we told you guys we're going to do the 53 all time, the 53 roster of the Buffalo Bills, past the present. We did that. We didn't have enough time to really make it as fun as we wanted to, as far as like the slides and all that stuff. But hey, we're still gonna go through it. You're still gonna have a good time with this. But I do want to. I think you know what, we'll do it now. But I do have something else later that we're gonna get to, which is the 6 players who need to step up for the Bills in 2024.
Yeah, so we'll do that
it's a Bills Wire article,
Nice.
and we'll do exactly. We'll get to that after this. So let's do this now. Go ahead and pop this on the screen.
So
so here we go, guys.
Let's preface this, Tommy. This isn't like this is we put together a 53-man roster. It isn't like, okay, they have the most stats, so they're in there. It's if they were in their prime, who would we want on our team as we're building out an actual team?
Exactly. So right. So because me and Mikey were talking about that too before we went live. So like, because it would be really easy if we just went by stats, guys, right? Like we're going by like if you were to build a roster today, like right now, like the player you would want on your team, not so much about what they did in their entirety of their career, because there's going to be guys left off here where you're going to be like, oh my God, what about blah, blah, blah. Like we're talking about like just like right now, today. So
fantastic fullback, but there wasn't room for him.
Exactly. Yeah. Matter of fact, we didn't put any fullback. So
we have someone who can slide in. We have someone who can slide in.
Right.
Our last running back has done playing as fullback. So all right, let's jump in.
And by the way, there was guys too that which were guys that, man, that could have made there were final cuts. How about that?
Yeah.
There are guys that were on the bubble, right? and they lasted until the final day.
Disagreements on who we both thought should have been the last person there.
Absolutely.
And we talked through it. At the end of the day, and that happens.
And we'll go over it. So here we go. We'll start with the offense first, guys. I don't think this is any surprise, right?
No.
Quarterback Josh Allen, Jim Kelly, Joe Ferguson. Anybody
the three
have
greatest
any
in Buffalo history?
right? Anybody have any problem with that? I don't think so. Now I will say this. I wanted to put a backup initially.
A true backup.
Because I was thinking of a true backup, and I would have picked Frank Reich, because I do think Frank Reich is our best backup ever, right? Like, he was a guy I felt like we were most comfortable if Jim Kelly went down. He had the big moment in the playoff against the Oilers that got us to a Super Bowl. He's a good guy. Stayed in Buffalo for a little bit, but we're building an all Madden like type team, so there's really no backups here. Like, you got 3 starting quarterbacks. Like,
yeah, if it was me, my backup,
like, you know what I mean? Like, if you started Josh Allen, yeah, if you had Josh and Josh got hurt, then Jim Kelly would be the next in. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, yeah. So I mean, so it's a little different here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
If we were gonna go with a backup, my backup would have been Ryan Fitzpatrick, because he could be both a starter and a backup and still come in and do what you need him to do.
True. But I will say, was Fitzpatrick a backup though with us, or he was a start? He was initially, right? Didn't he come in as a backup initially?
He came in as a backup and ended up earning the starting job.
Okay.
Same as Tyrell.
Okay. So he was a backup on here. Yeah, because Frank Reich, though, I feel like Frank Reich was always.
Frank Reich is our best backup. He also engineered the greatest comeback ever.
Yeah.
But he also
exactly.
If you had if Allen and Kelly went down for the season, I'd much rather have Joe Ferguson.
Yeah, you'd be done. right. Absolutely. Running backs, and I don't think this is any surprise, at least not for me. Now there was one here, and the last one where we're kind of on the fence with, or at least me, Thurman Thomas. Yes, for sure.
Yep.
Best running back in Buffalo Bills history.
Yep.
O.J. Simpson. He had a short run, but he had an epic short run. Like, he wasn't in Buffalo like forever, but man,
top 3 best rushing in a season for Buffalo. The top 3.
Right.
Seasons.
Yeah. He was unbelievable. Like, I mean, he was the man. Like, he was the man outside of Buffalo. Put it that way.
Yeah.
Like O.J. Simpson was a big fucking deal, right? So,
yeah, I like it. Oh, Tommy froze.
And we're talking about in your prime. O.J. Simpson was he was a beast.
All right, you froze for a second there. You back? Oh, no. Froze again. Maybe it's me.
Oh man, I don't know what happened.
Okay. I'm like, maybe it was me. Maybe I froze.
No. Who knows? Okay. Technical issues there.
Okay.
For the moment.
OJ, yes, was a stud. LaShawn McCoy is one of the, he was fantastic in Philly, and then he just kept his dominance in Buffalo.
Yeah, Shady. Once again, another player didn't have like a long run in Buffalo, but he was so dynamic when he came here. He was good. Like, it sucks we didn't have him longer, but now, right, in his prime, right? Yeah, like, we got him at the tail end of his prime. Like, he was still in his prime, but I think he was at the tail end of it. You know what I mean? Like, just at the end of it. But we got some good years out of him. Fred Jackson. I initially had Travis Henry. It's a toss-up, guys. I mean, for me at least, I think Travis Henry had some dynamic. I think he was underrated running back in Buffalo, in my opinion. He was really solid, but Fred Jackson was really solid too. I understand that. Like, Fred Jackson was here longer. He was durable. He split carries a lot of the seasons he was here, and still picked up good yards on both receiving and running. I get that. So I guess that's why we lean towards Fred Jackson. But Travis Henry's, I mean, I think if Travis Henry's there, I wouldn't be mad either.
Joe Cribbs over Fred Jackson too.
I'm glad. Like, that. This is what this is about. So I want your guys. We want your guys' opinion. Like, if there's someone that you want to replace on your all 3, what you're going to start today, cool. And I don't hate that either. That's what I'm saying. Like,
there's so many good ones to pick from.
But let me ask you, Daniel. So this is what we started with the conversation with on this team, though. Are you talking? Do you think in his prime, we're talking about you starting a team right now? Do you think Joe Cribbs is more dynamic of a running back than Shady McCoy? You get what I'm saying? Like, that's where I'm going with. Like, that's where me and Mikey had to take this list because this is
a different era too. So it's
different era. Exactly. So I just feel like, listen, Cribbs was good, but Shady McCoy for me is more dynamic. If I was starting a team today, yeah, maybe Cribbs is maybe tougher. He's different style running back too. But Shady McCoy in his prime for me is better than Cribbs. Like, I would take him if I was starting a team today. I think he would. I would take him over Cribbs.
If you're just taking stats, right?
Right.
Cribbs had a 5-year career, had 4,400 yards.
Mm-hmm.
LaShawn had a 3-year career and had 3,800 yards. LaShawn, had a better yards per carry. Like, if you want to get into stats related, if you just like watch them, like, honestly, we're talking about the 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th best running backs by stats in Buffalo history.
Right.
For those last spots.
Right.
Spots. Like Thurman and OJ, top of the mountain. The rest of them, they can all be. It's all subjective at this point.
Absolutely. You could. I get that. That's why this is tough, guys. That's what I'm saying. Like, this is not easy. I'm just like, I'm just, the way we thought about it. Like I said, it's just if we start a team today, who's more dynamic? Who's more dynamic right now? Like in their prime, who would and I just think that is a fair list in our eyes. Now, your eyes could be I understand. So. But it's it is like, man, that's tough. You're right. That Cribbs was dynamic too. So I don't know. I just think Shady is a better back, in my opinion.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
You take Cribbs over Shady. I'm a big fan of Shady. And you know what? Maybe it's Fred Jackson who falls off and Shady and Cribbs were both on here for you. And that's great.
Yep.
I wanted Fred Jackson for the fact that he could also dub as a fullback because he did that in Buffalo.
Yep.
All right. Wide receivers.
All right, let's get to it. Andre Reed, come on, best receiver in Buffalo Bills history.
I think that's like stats wise, yeah. But if you want, I would have loved to see Reed and Molds together and really, because Eric Molds was a dominant man.
If we're talking, so once again, if we're talking about building a team, like because we're talking about in their prime. Best overall talent, like talented at their position. I agree with Mikey. I think if it was going to go in order, let's say this was an order somehow, like Molds would be. I think Molds would be my one. Like if I had a team putting this roster together, I think Molds was faster, more physical. I just think he was a different type of receiver. But people will argue that. People will argue that. Oh, Mikey.
The Vikings. Stephon Diggs had the best 4-year stretch of any wide receiver in Buffalo Bill history.
Yeah, you can't take that away.
We can hate the guy for how it ended.
Yep.
But you can't take away what he did, why he was here.
Yeah. Believe me, I was disgusted putting his name on there. Yeah, but the facts are the facts. Right? He was dynamic for the 4 years he was here. And he broke records, right? That were here for a while, right? Stevie Johnson, for instance, he broke his record for the 4 consecutive 1,000 yards, right? Stevie had the 3 in a row, and Stephon beat him at the 4. So,
and I don't look at him as a Viking. He played 1 extra year for the Vikings, and that 1 extra year, he really didn't do a ton. And
I agree.
Like a returner too for them. That's fine. He's part of Buffalo Bills history. Say what you want about him, but he has a 4-year stretch.
Yeah. So put it this way, like let's be real, like on him. I don't know where he stands in Hall of Fame talk. I don't think so, but let's say he continues on and he makes the Hall. Let's just say hypothetically, he would go in as a Buffalo Bill unless he totally dominates wherever he goes next, because it ain't going to be Houston. He ain't going to stay there but 1 year, right? So let's say he goes somewhere else and wins a ring. and he has a 3-year stretch, which I don't see happening because he's already getting old, as far as receiving, goes, as far as, age. He would go in as a Buffalo Bill. He did his best stats as a Buffalo Bill.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I can't.
Every year.
That's what I mean.
Last year was his worst year, and it was still better than any of his previous 5 years in
exactly.
Vikings.
Exactly. So you can't go by like this guy was because that guy was there, whatever. He didn't do what he did like he did in Buffalo, and he even understands that. He says that. So yeah, he's a Buffalo Bill, and I have to put him here because of what he did. Right.
How much? However, Theo was a 1-year guy, and he wasn't even that good while he was here. So you can't put him on there.
That's a great. So Spin brings up a good point about T.O. However, T.O. was here 1 year. I kind of stayed away from him because it's 1 year. I get it, but we can go down that road with other people too that went here 1 year that were, like dynamic. Like Washington could say Buffalo could say Bruce Smith for them if they were building a 53. Okay. And I don't know.
Here's why T.O. wouldn't be on there. He had the 67th best receiving season in Buffalo Bill history. Yeah, in his 1 year that he's here.
Exactly. So
I would not put him on that list.
But in his prime, of course,
T.O.'s a Hall of Famer.
Yes, so he would definitely be over like Stevie Johnson. You know what I mean? Like I get what you're going there, but I 1 year and he didn't have the greatest year with us. I mean, it was not bad. I think he had 1,000 yards, right? If I'm not mistaken. Didn't he have 1,000 yards? 820. Okay, so close. But no, I just didn't put him because I don't feel like he was a Buffalo Bill 1 year. You know what I mean? Is that fair? Is that fair to say? I mean, 1 year kind of loner.
It's subjective.
Yeah. So I stood away from that because it was 1 year. Want
Diggs on his All Madden team, then he doesn't have to have him on his All Madden team.
Right. For instance, if Diggs went for Houston, if we're gonna play devil's advocate, if Diggs had 1,000 yards for Houston and he moves on, he signs somewhere else, and they're doing a all Houston team, I don't think they would put Stephon Diggs. I could be wrong. They might. I wouldn't. You know what I mean? Unless I got to look at their history. They may have terrible receivers
like Andre Johnson and D Hop.
Well, Andre Johnson and D, but they're
and D Hop.
You're right. So you might have
had a really good year there.
You're right. You might have to. You because they haven't been around long. You might. I take that back. You may have to put unless it's a terrible year. That might be correct. Bad example. Anyways, Lee Evans. Who was underrated. I thought he was really good.
6 years here. He has the third most receiving yards in Bill's history. Was really good on really bad teams.
Mm-hmm. Terrible teams, multiple head coaches and different coordinators and different quarterbacks.
Bad quarterbacks,
Oh God. And he was still dynamic.
He made JP look good.
Hey,
go
JP,
as far as you can. I'll run under it.
Him and JP had a good connection. I will say that when Trent Edwards came in, Lee Evans and Trent Edwards did not mesh well.
Because Lee Evans was a deep ball guy, and JP threw the ball deep. That's what
he took chances.
Was, and Trent Edwards was a check down guy.
Yeah,
West Coast guy.
Yeah, he took chances. He took too many.
Yep.
Yeah, a little too many.
So all right, then Stevie Johnson, before Stephon Diggs walked through the door, had the best. Had one of the best runs.
The stretch.
What was it, 3 or 4 year run?
3. Yeah.
3-year run for Stevie.
Who was a guy that was really he's a 6th round draft pick. I'm pretty sure he's a 6th round draft pick out of Kentucky. He wasn't even supposed to. I don't think anyone had high expectations for Stevie Johnson. I remember, I think his first 2 years, he didn't do anything here. I think he was just trying to make the team.
First year, he didn't.
Right? It was his first year, right? What was his
second year? He got hurt. And then in his third year, he broke out.
There we go. So first year, trying to make the team as a 6th round, because not every most 6 rounds, you could get good. And the second year he got hurt, and the third year he came around. And he could also, I also got to say too, Ryan Fitzpatrick, he's lucky to have a guy that could sling the ball. He wasn't with Captain Checkdown or someone like that, right? So he kind of came perfect quarterback for Stevie Johnson.
You aren't lying, Spin. Moving on to our tight end room.
Oh,
Our tight end room was
yikes.
very sad.
This was sad. I mean, there was other guys,
Dalton
but
Kincaid,
man,
Dalton Kincaid has like broke all of our tight end records in like his first year,
right?
like in one season. Like it's crazy. In single season, it's nuts. Like,
and we had to put him because we're starting a team today. I can't put him
like,
over our other.
Is there outside of Pete Metzler? Is there another tight end? Outside of like Dawson Knox and Dalton Kincaid that you can think of that would deserve that? Was Charles Clay? Like
Charles Clay was okay. I never considered him a tight end though. He was so undersized, man. Jay Remersma, that was okay. Remersma,
like he was part of some
right.
of those Super Bowl teams, and he was great, but he wasn't really great.
Right. We never had solid tight ends here.
Yeah. It's sad that Knox and Kincaid are like on the all Madden team already.
I know. It's crazy.
But
you're
right. Keith McKellar 1 year. Yeah, they're all 1 year guys.
Keith McKellar, I forgot about him. 90s.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, you kind of go with what you got.
Yeah, we never really had solid tight ends, that's for sure. Now we do.
Now we do. Got two really good ones.
Yep.
Offensive tackles, Jason Peters. Jason Peters was here. I think he did his best work in Philly, but I don't hate having him on this list. I think he would have done the same thing if he was here.
So he was here long enough where I have to put him here. Yeah. I get where you're going though.
We took him from a tight end to left tackle.
Absolutely. We made Jason Peters what he was. We because I don't know if another team would have thought of that. If another team would have.
It was the Bledsoe years. Those years all run together for me. You too, Tommy. Those years where those tight ends were at. Like.
Yep.
Rings are my Oh,
yeah. Man. So I don't know. I just don't. I think because we molded Peters. I think
you put Clay over Knox. I'm not sure I would.
Clay had some decent seasons here, but I don't think he's a better tight end than Dawson Knox. I think Dawson Knox is a better tight end. I think blocking wise, I think.
You know what? Know who we may have gone with instead of Knox? Scott Chandler.
Even he didn't do it for me. If I start a team, I get it. He wasn't terrible, but once again, I don't know. I mean, what was his best season with us? I mean, he's okay. I think Dawson Knox had a better year than him.
53 catches, 655 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
Right. And what was Knox's best year? Was 2022, if I'm not mistaken. 8 touchdowns, right? I don't know how many yards.
He had more touchdowns. I don't think he had as many yards, but he had more touchdowns.
Yeah.
I mean, you can,
I think
Buffalo didn't have a great tight end.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I'm not. Listen, guys, I'm not like, I wouldn't start Dawson Knox. You wouldn't be TAU1,
Yeah. He's like, I was thinking it was all offensive line, not just tackles. I should have realized they were all tackles. Yeah. So okay, let's keep going through. Howard Ballard, John Cena, Will Wolford, and then Deion Dawkins. And I thought this was a fantastic list you put together, Tommy. This one, I didn't have any qualms. These are all guys that I would have.
Yeah, solid. List. Yeah. All solid, man.
I love that Deion now hits those lists too.
Yeah, because he won it off a couple years back. He was always he was because he had. I thought last year was one of his best years, and that's because he finally had somebody next to him that was capable of being a good, reliable guard. But when he has somebody next to him, man, he's super reliable. He does all he can. He's a solid tackle, man.
All right, so let's look at Clay's stats real quick.
Yeah,
he had a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-year run. Nope, that was in Miami. His best, he had 57 catches, 552, and 4 touchdowns was his best. But he had a 3-year run where he had 528, 552, 558.
It's nothing to write home about, man.
No.
It's okay. I mean, guys, that's not – for me, he never was a true tight end. I
Dawson
get it.
Knox
He's
only
a
has
fullback.
he has 2 500-yard ones, but he also has way more touchdowns. So I'm with you on the Knox over Clay thing.
Yeah. I didn't hate Clay, though.
Mm-hmm.
And, I will say, too, Clay didn't have the benefit of having Josh Allen either. He only had him the 1 year, his rookie year. You know what I mean? Where Allen was still trying to find his way. But I just never felt like Clay was a true tight end. He was a fullback out of Miami that they converted into a tight end. He wasn't bad. I thought he was a serviceable.
It wasn't worth the money we gave him. That's for damn sure.
He was serviceable, but he definitely wasn't dynamic in any. And I'm not saying Dawson Knox is dynamic, but I just think Knox does a little bit more as a tight end than Charles Clay.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Okay. All right. Next up.
Clay's always gonna be a traitor to me. He's the reason we lost to Miami. The centers, Kent Hall and Eric Wood. I'm good with that.
Oh, you forgot the guards.
Ruben Brown. Sorry.
Yeah. That's okay.
Richter, Joe D, Ruben Brown, Billy Shaw. I think, the one that I would have loved to see on here, but I just don't think he played long enough is Richie. I'm a huge Richie guy.
Yeah, I was on the fence with him, but he didn't stay on the team long
I don't
enough.
think he's better than any of these guys that are on here.
No, I thought he had a solid year when he was here a couple of years, but
yeah,
those guys are.
But man, he's one of my favorites. He's one of
my Hall of Fame, Bills Wall of Fame.
Yeah.
Like these guys were unbelievable. Like if you're starting a team, like you got to take those guys over Richie. It's a 53.
No, I'm with you on that.
I mean, Richie would be on the practice squad for sure. Call him up.
He's one of my favorites. So he's like one of my all-time favorites.
Yeah, dude, I love Richie too. Absolutely, man.
He's the guy you want on your team. He's not the guy you don't want on your team. He's the guy you want to play.
Yeah,
Center,
absolutely.
Kent Hall and Eric Wood. I'm okay with that. Eric Wood it was kind of short term, but man, to think what he could have been.
Dude, he was so good. He was so good. He was, man.
I
felt so bad for him.
I'm not sure who else I would think of to put there over him.
Ken Hall.
Yeah. I'm in 3 years outside of Kent.
Now I will say this though. I was thinking of our Mitch Morse was very borderline on this one. Yeah. I almost
he had the tenure.
Yes, I almost put him there, but we're going by in their prime. If you're starting it now, healthy, all that good stuff. I think Eric Wood was better.
So good. He was so good.
Yeah, so I had to put him over Mitch Morse.
I'm with you on that.
Okay.
Then we're gonna do special teams before we. Okay. Kicker Steve Christie. Okay, I'm good with that. Yep. Mormon, who is like yes.
Yeah.
Like if there's a punt god in Buffalo, it's Brian Mormon.
Yeah. You got it.
Kick returner Roscoe Parrish. Punt returner Terrence McGee. I'm okay with those.
Yeah. Roscoe was dynamic in the kick return department. And Terrence was too. Terrence could do both, but I just felt like Roscoe it was a little bit more. He was a little bit more better.
Like, is there anybody we're missing? And
on what? On kick return or punt return?
Yeah, on kick return.
You had.
I'm looking at returns.
You had Leotis, who wasn't bad. I think Nate Clements did it for a little bit too. He was okay. I mean, there was a few. I think Roscoe, he set some records or he did some things for Buffalo and kick return. That's why.
Roscoe's way down here on the list. Whoa, for kick returns.
Yeah,
it's McGee, Leotis.
Yeah.
For kick
Leotis.
returns.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Leotis, Keith Moody, Eric Moulds.
Eric Moulds. That's what he started with. 2 years, first 2 years. Yeah.
Andre Roberts had a better year than Roscoe.
Forgot about Roberts. Yeah, but Roberts wasn't dynamic for me when he was here. I'm talking about guys take it to the house. Yeah, but not take it to the house dynamic. He was just really reliable.
Okay.
I always felt like Roberts was super reliable. He would pick up yards, but he wasn't take it to the house Andre Roberts when we got him.
Yeah,
he was just good.
Naeem Hines actually sits at as tied for third with the most returns for touchdowns.
Because he had the
Terrence McGee. Really, Terrence McGee probably should have been both.
Could have been both. He could have been both. But
yeah, he probably should have been both of those.
That's why I told you in the beginning. Like I could have put McGee.
Yeah,
we could have put McGee at both here.
You know what?
Because he was
McGee
better
at both, and we're gonna throw Joe Cribbs up in the running back spot.
We could do that. We could do that. I just like Roscoe so much. I think
Yeah.
Roscoe is cool.
I think
But I think Roscoe did set
played
some
before
records
his
though. I
time.
thought he did. Yeah.
I think maybe it was on the punt side. It wasn't on the kickoff side.
Maybe so. I thought he set some records.
Roscoe's the number one punt returner.
All right. So if we were to flip it,
Flip it, it would be perfect. Yeah, flip it.
There we go.
Perfect.
We can flip it. All right, go, guys. Flip it on right.
Yeah. So Roscoe is our all-time punt returner.
There we go. So we'll flip those two guys.
And McGee's our all-time kick returner. So
there we go. We just had
you got the players right, just in different spots.
Yeah. But I think, you know what? If one got hurt, one could cover. I'll tell you what, though, right? One got hurt, either one could cover both. So
Moles was a great return guy too. You're right. You know,
dude, Moles was solid, bro.
If you're gonna add one more center, it probably should be Mitch Morris. Yeah, Mitch Morris would have been.
Absolutely.
And you know what, Spin? You're probably right. There's probably some hidden gems from like the '60s that we have no clue about.
Oh, for sure. I just wasn't 100%, dude. There's gonna be guys on here. I'm sure, like old timers, gonna be like, well, you know, you guys are missing this. Yeah, I get it.
All right,
I get it.
Let's do the defense.
I get it. All right, here we go.
DNs: Smith, Hughes, Williams, Hanson, Pop. Pop was very short term, but man, when he was there, he was dynamic.
But I think he had 1 year. It's like we're talking about in the prime. Starting like, team today.
Maybe.
Then he had 15
he was
sacks.
More of a linebacker, Alexander, because he was really good here too, as a pass rusher. But he wasn't really a D end. He was more of a linebacker.
Yeah. Who? Pop?
No.
Oh.
Lorenzo Alexander.
Yeah, but he was a linebacker.
I know. That's what I'm saying. But he was more of a pass rusher than an actual linebacker.
Yeah, but he was solid. He could stop there. He was so good, bro. London Fletcher was really. London Fletcher is borderline Hall of Famer. I mean,
who we missed? I didn't even think about this. We missed Aaron Schobel on this list.
Oh, Aaron Schobel.
How did we miss Aaron Schobel?
Who would we take out for him?
Probably Pop, because he doesn't have the legit longevity.
Yeah, but we're not talking about longevity. We're talking about starting a team now.
Yeah,
like their prime. Pop in his prime
was fantastic.
Was fucking dynamic, dude. Like, dude, that for like I think
I don't know who you take out, because all these guys in their prime.
Maybe Jerry. Maybe if we're gonna do it, but
Jerry had double digit.
But Jerry was solid too. That's what I'm saying. It was so tough.
Jerry double digit sacks
And Mario Williams was a beat. The only problem with Mario Williams, we got him like the tail end of his prime. You know, but he was still dynamic. He still was dynamic for a couple seasons with us. You know, I Rex Ryan messed him up. You know
what we do? We find somewhere else. We cut a guy and we put Aaron Schobel.
We could just put an extra. Absolutely.
Yeah, I can't believe we forgot him.
I know.
Like, how do we forget the second leading sack artist in Buffalo Bill history?
I don't know. That was my mistake.
Pop over. Okay, here's one. Pop over Schobel. Schobel was never dynamic. He was really good on poor Bills teams. You're right, DG. Maybe even though he has such high stats.
That's a great point.
Maybe he doesn't deserve that spot because he doesn't have that dynamicness that these other guys have.
That's a great point. That is
I feel like we're leaving a legend off of the list, but sometimes that happens. Tommy's just a slacker.
I know, right? Listen, I went with, if I'm starting a team today, not by the longevity or you know, I think Bryce Pop, and that was a great point that Daniel made. I think Pop was in his prime, like with the Bills.
He averaged 11 sacks a year for Buffalo in those 3 years.
Yes, I mean, and then he had 1 year. What was the 1 year he had? 15?
Yeah,
something crazy, like something high like that.
Yeah,
what was the 1 year he had? He had something crazy, like a 15 sack.
He had 17 and a half.
So look at me. I'm underselling him. 17. Guy had unbelievable.
It was Buffalo's career. He had, and in his 2 full seasons, he had 17 and a half. He had 9 and a half, and then he had 6 when he got hurt in his second.
All right. We're happy if a guy gets 7 and a half.
Defensive Player of the Year his first year, and then he made the Pro Bowl the next 2 years. Like, he was so good.
He was. It just, I think injuries caught up to him.
Yeah,
that was his thing.
You're right, DG. At the end of the day, Schobel was long-term, production over flash. Like, I love him, and he was super consistent. but he wasn't dynamic by any means.
Exactly.
So okay, we'll go with yours. Tommy, I like it.
All right, cool.
Let's move to DTs.
Yep.
What was Aaron Schobel's most sacks in a season? 14.
Yeah. That's not terrible.
He played his entire career in Buffalo, and of the 9 years, he had 4 of the 9 he had double-digit sacks. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
But he also had years that he had like 1 or 6.5, and we're excited about the 6.5 that Epinesa gets us.
All right. I know, right? Like we're like, woo, 6 sacks, baby.
Yeah, but at the same time, Schobel played on some really bad teams, so he never really got to play in the spotlight either. I wonder how good he would have been if he got to play in the spotlight.
Yeah,
like Jared Allen was the same way for a long time, and for the Vikings, and then they started winning, and he then showed up on as a guy who was really good.
Yeah. I also think it has to do with your defensive coordinator too.
Yeah,
how aggressive they are. Some guys can kind of put you back. Some guys can put you, make you a little bit better. What
Mark
play
Maddox,
calls it, where
Mark
they
Maddox.
You.
Like there's so
He was
many we
solid.
could have added.
Yeah.
There's so many we could have added. So all right, the defensive tackles we have Fred Smerslis, Kyle Williams, Ted Washington, and Pat Williams. I don't think you could go wrong because there's other guys you can add in here, but these are 4 that I would go to bat with every day.
Yeah, Ted Washington was a freaking beast.
And yeah, the Washington, Washington
big,
and Williams,
dude.
those guys together. And Kyle was just the heart and soul of teams and was so good.
I just remember watching Ted Washington though. I don't know why he was intimidating, bro. He was such a fucking dude. That dude was like, you do not want to run his way.
Yeah.
Like, have that dude tackle you. It would be a bad day for you. And Pat Williams too. Pat Williams is no joke either. Monster of a man.
Yeah. All right, so let's jump into the linebackers. We had Cornelius Bennett, Shane Conlon, London Fletcher, Matt Milano, and Darryl Talley. I'm not sure I would, I don't think you can add other guys in there, but I think those guys are all legit. Ed Oliver could be working his way towards that. If he continues, DG, I do believe he could, by the time he's done, be on that list.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when we saw the jump, last year. If he continues, Joey said Fred's one of his favorite Buffalo Bills. Yeah, Fred was great. Bryce Bob. Yep. Okay. From a linebacker standpoint, Tommy, what's your thoughts? You good with this? You think you missed anybody?
No. I think Matt Milano, he belongs there, but he has to get.
He would be in the backup roles. That's what
he would definitely be in a backup role.
But he's also one of the outside backers.
Yeah.
With Fletcher and Conley on the inside, with Bennett, Talley, and Milano on the outside.
Yeah, but like I said, I had to put him there because at their prime, when he's healthy, Matt Milano's been one of our better linebackers in Buffalo. You know what I mean? Like he's a really, really smart player, good tackler. Like he's a good player. So I had to put him here, but he's nowhere near. Like if you're put this in order, like you said, he would be on the back end of it on this. He'd be on the bench. You know what I mean?
I mean, Matt Milano is number 6 on solo tackles all time in Buffalo, but he's also a playmaker. Like
that's what I mean. Yeah,
pass coverage in today's game is what this linebacker group would be missing. This linebacker group is great against the run. They have nobody that's covering. You're not sending Talley and Bennett and Fletcher. Fletcher may be able to cover a little bit, but that's if it's in a passing situation, you want Milano out there.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, DG. Pat Williams was one of those UDFAs who they just missed on. He turned into a monster. He was so good.
It happens sometimes. You get lucky with guys like that, man.
Yeah, you really do. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the secondary.
Yep.
We have Nate Clements, Antoine Winfield, Trey White, Stephon Gilmore, Terrence McGee, and Nate Odoms. There are other guys like, we have Butch Bird as a safety rather than a corner.
Mm-hmm.
Charles Romas, it was back in the day. He was really
Yep.
good. He played in the 70s, early 80s. He's the guy that could have gone there. Mario Clark and the guy, another late 70s, early
Mario
80s
Clark,
guy,
solid.
could have been on there. But
Mhm.
when we're putting these together, we're looking again at today's NFL. I think these
Right.
are the guys we go with.
Absolutely. You're building like an Antoine Winfield. I will say this: his better years was not on the Bills.
Yeah.
Like his better years was after us. But we're talking about prime. He was with us long enough. 100%, I would take Antoine Winfield. Nate Clements was a beast as well. Trey White, when healthy, and his before he got hurt, was a dog. He was considered one.
First team
He was
All-Pro.
he was on the top 100 all the time, right? When they do that list, people knew who Trey was. Stephon Gilmore, once again, another guy that probably did better outside of Buffalo, but he was still damn good here. But still a guy that was solid.
Oh, that's a good one, DG. Cowart might have made this list if he didn't have the ACL injury. Yeah, that guy was really freaking good too.
He was
got hurt.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And that's fine. Span, if you don't want to qualify Fletcher as a Bill, so that's fine. That's your.
He was here. How long was he here for? 3 seasons? 4? He was here a little bit. He was here longer than a season.
He spent more time with Washington, but that's not the longevity wasn't the reason why we were making this list.
Right. Yep. Exactly. But he was here longer than a year, so I had to put him here, and he was solid when he was here. He was a really, really good football player.
Stephon Gilmore was only here 4 years, but the dude was a first team All-Pro, and like he was so good. And in today's game, that's a guy you would want on this team.
Yep.
Kiko was a 1-year legend. Honestly, and on this team, we may want Kiko because he can cover.
Yeah.
If you get that rookie year Kiko, all the rest of the year Kikos were garbage.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, safeties. We have Butch Bird, Henry Jones, Jordan Poyer, and Micah Hyde. Now we left off, Tom Green and Mark Kelso. They could have been in there, but Hyde and Poyer, I just felt like they needed to be there.
You know what we can do? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to talk to you, Mikey. Let's do something because there is a guy that's not on this that we should put on this list.
Who's that?
Steve Tasker. Let's take out Roscoe. Got to put Tasker in
as a special teams guy.
As special teams guy, just for that reason only, because we don't really have. And he was one of the he was considered one of the best special teams ever. Like he should be in the Hall of Fame.
He's the reason why special teams, is what it is. Like why you have a ace.
Right. So I'll take Roscoe off because Mike, because what's the name can do both. McGee. So for that, we'll do that.
All right. I'm with that.
Okay.
For the special teams ace. Special teams gunner. Yep. Like he was legendary. Yeah, but when we're talking about safeties, like it's subjective again because we have so many guys we can put back there because Green and Kelso are both ball hawks. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Like they could be back there if you want that. But man, I'm good with Jones and Bird, and then Hyde and Poyer. I think are the best duo Buffalo's ever had.
Absolutely.
Head coach Marv Levy was the best head coach we ever had. OC Ted Marchibroda, DC Walt Corey.
Who was obviously these are the Super Bowl coordinators. There was another Super Bowl coordinator as well, but I thought Ted had a better winning percentage. His offenses were better, in my opinion. So I had to. And
I'm hoping down the line Joe Brady takes over this OC's job.
Yeah, I hope so too. Hey, look, man, Super Bowl will change this whole this stuff.
And Bobby Badger takes over this DC job.
Yeah, and coaches could change real quick.
I hope it happens.
Yeah, coaches could change real quick on this list. So that's a list, man. That's a list.
Yeah, DC. Wade Phillips was a better DC. Okay. Wade Phillips was a legendary DC.
Yeah, but he came later. And I don't think he had I like him. I think he was good, but I don't think he was better than the other guy. In my opinion, I thought that the other
I'm-
guy he just
And
he had
I
a better
don't
run.
know. I don't know. You know, I
You have
don't
to
think I
look at the
know
stats.
enough to really split the hairs when it comes to the coaches.
Yeah, it's tough.
Because it's
It is
talent
tough.
versus,
Yeah, the coaches just threw together. That was what.
Yeah.
It's not really a 53,
And
but
we could be wrong.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
He was a DC first, Spin. He was a DC, then he got promoted to the head coach.
Yes, and that's when he got basically management screwed him.
Yep.
And told him to
And
start Rob
when
Johnson.
things started going downhill for us.
Yeah, that was it.
Yep.
I mean, that was a crucial mistake that they did.
But
with
Tommy,
Rob Johnson.
you did a wonderful job. As Tommy picked up the slack on the
Thank you,
All Madden team because I got stuck at with work. Long week this week.
I forgot all about it until today. So
yeah,
kind of partially both.
You did a very good job of putting that together for us and going through it, and
Thank you.
And maybe we do this next year and then look to see if somebody else gets bumped off.
Absolutely.
We have a lot of time to fill in the off season.
Yeah, we do. This is the last thing that we're going to talk about tonight.
Mikey was
by the
the
way.
slacker. Yeah,
Mikey was
his job. My job got in the way this week. I wasn't able to help him.
So this is the last thing I want to, before we get out of here. Once again, shout out to Bills Wire for creating the article. 6 players who need to step up for the Bills in 2024. Now,
just assumes it's you, Tommy.
Yeah, I know, right? Hey, man, I do a lot of stuff here. All right, so look, if you have a player, guys, in the chat that's not on this list, same with you, Mikey, obviously me. Let's go ahead and add them in as we go on. You know what I'm saying? Or after.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the 6 players, okay, that need to step up in 2024. Real simple.
All right.
6 real simple. 6 players need to step up in 2024. Wide receiver, Khalil Shakir. I would agree with that. Mikey?
I actually disagree. I think if he just needs to continue doing what he's doing, I don't think he needs. If he does what he did down the stretch last year, he's going to be just fine. I wouldn't add him on one of my 6.
Okay. I think I agree with you. I think he needs it to, because here it is. Here's why. Because now is a lot more pressure on him, right? And the reason why I say that is because he is going to go into the season as the number 1, in my opinion. And I think he will be in the depth chart as the number 1. And people will be understanding that, right? And corners are going to probably guard him as the number 1 going into week 1. And he has a big shoes to fill. Big shoes to fill with Stephon Diggs obviously not here. Now is his opportunity, and I think he does need to take that big step forward to show Brandon Beane and everyone else that he is that guy. He can be that guy that they don't need to go out and make a trade for a Brandon Ayuk or go ahead and get Michael Thomas. Like, he could be that guy. So I think it's a big deal for him. And I also think that's why he's really putting that extra work in with Molds to really prove himself to be that guy.
Best guys you can work with.
Absolutely. So, I mean, I get where you're going with it, but that's where I do think
he wouldn't just be on my list of 6. Like, I want him to continue to grow. He just wouldn't be on my list of 6.
I understand. Next one up beside the ad here, offensive line, McGovern.
I'm 100% on board with this one. This guy needs to step his game up. He's moving into the pivot, which controls that entire offensive line. Him and Josh Allen need to be on the same page.
Absolutely. This is he definitely needs. This is another guy that is going to be watched big time because they just drafted a center that could take his job, right? Yep. He can, okay, and Van Pran. And if McGovern wants to earn it and keep it, he has to take that step forward. And listen, man, Josh Allen has had Mitch Morse over the last, since he's pretty much been a rookie.
I mean, he had year 1, then he had more.
Yeah, exactly. So he's been behind solid centers. So this is a big step. This is definitely something that he needs to take a big step in proving that he could be that guy. So I agree with that.
I also think that he needs to be better than he was last year because I truly believe that he was the weak link on our offensive line last year.
100%. If I totally agree with that. I said it to. I said that too. We both agree with that last year.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he played good.
He played good. He did.
But
he was
yeah.
he was the worst of the 5.
Absolutely, he made the most mistakes in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I
think,
but he wasn't terrible.
Up some of it for him.
Yeah.
But he's also, they say his natural position is center, so he was kind of playing out of position. So
yeah,
you know,
so maybe
I see him be better this year and step up.
Exactly. I agree with that. So, yeah.
Me
so
too.
moving
I
on.
think, Daniel, I think he's gonna do well at center too. I just need to see it.
Taylor Rapp.
I wonder if Taylor Rapp's gonna even start. Like that safety position, I have no idea who the starters are going to be. If he's a starter, yes. He needs to play the way he played on the back half of the year, not the first half of the year.
Yeah.
He played much better down the stretch.
Concerned about his injuries, too. Felt like he got injured a little bit too often last year.
With reckless abandon, man.
Yeah. I think he's a good player. I do like his...
Me too.
I do, I like that style in a way, but and on the other hand, it's like I don't,
I need you to be out there.
Right, exactly. I also don't want you hurting other teammates of yours, because you're so out of control sometimes. But yeah, I think this is a big step for him, especially if he is trying to be that guy, right? To take over that safety spot. I don't know. We'll see. It's going to be competition, I think, in camp for that. So
I'm okay with that. Spen comes in and says he wants to see Groot, Epinesa. Groot's on here. Epinesa, Miller, Brown, safeties, and Elam.
Okay. I want to put Brown.
I wouldn't either.
I think Brown proved it last year. Now,
I'd like to see him continue. Like I'm like him, like with Shakir. I just need them to continue to do what they were doing.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm with you there. Like I think Brown did that last year. I think Brown needed it because I think last year, if we had this list up last year, Brown would have 100% been on this list.
I'm a bit uncertain about Rapp. Can he stay healthy and play at the levels the Bills defense needs? That's the question. That's why he needs to step up. Greg Rousseau, fantastic player. He's been great. I need him to take that next step as a pass rusher.
Got to, especially on your 5th year. You got the 5th year option or whatever.
Yeah, this is year 4 for him. So then if you have the next year on the 5th year option, this is his chance to go get that money.
Exactly. Improve your work. I mean, he's been solid, like Mikey said.
Yeah.
But I need him to. I felt like every year for Gregory Rousseau, he's taken a step forward. But I go back to what I said about AJ Epinesa. He never took a huge step forward until last year. I need that big step forward for Gregory Rousseau.
I need him to stay
I need
healthy.
that breakout. Yeah, I need that breakout, stay healthy, breakout year where we're like, hey, this is the guy we drafted in the first round. This is the guy we want to sign long term. Like he has to. Like I think it is a big deal for him. And Von's back. So now, like he'll have a little bit more help too. You know what I mean? Yep. Everyone's back healthy. So.
Yes. Hitting Spen's comment. We can agree to disagree on this. I don't think Brown was our weakest link at all. I think he was. I think he started out as average. By the end of the year, he was playing really good football.
No, I think he wound up being like one of the better.
Linemen.
Yeah, in the NFL. Like if you go back and look at his stats or whatever, like his numbers, he was actually up there, man. He had a really good year.
We can agree to disagree on that.
Yeah, he started off a little shaky. I'll agree.
Brown's in a contract
he finished off good.
Layers ball out in contract years. Could price himself out of Buffalo another year like he did last season. He could. I'll be interested to see, what Brown if Brown has another really good year, if the Bills pay him and what that structure looks like. It'll be interesting to see. Offensive line starting to get paid, man. Keep starting to get paid. All right, so let's keep going. I would agree with this. I think Groot needs to make that next step.
Yep. All right, next up, Benford.
Yes, but where I need him to step up is his health. When he's on the field, the dude is a stud.
Right.
I just need him to be on the field more. He's always missed games both years so far.
Yeah. Got to stay healthy, man. I agree
think that's
with that.
the thing that we're missing from him.
And I don't know if that's a step up. That's just, I don't know if it's bad luck when guys like this just happen to get hurt every season. You know, like
I don't know.
I like, or is this just bad condition? I can't assume it's bad conditioning because all these guys are in great shape by the time. You know what I mean?
Like the last time he got hurt, he hurt his knee on tackling because the way he went down.
Yeah,
the guy went over top of him. He fumbled in the playoff game, but like we didn't see
Yeah.
him again. It's just like that's just you can't
just
do
gotta
that.
stay healthy. Yeah,
got a proper technique, step up, and be available for your team.
I agree. Yeah. Ooh. Josh Allen.
Josh Allen's got to step up. What more do you want this guy to do?
Right. Phil's wire. Wow. Surprising.
You know what? I need him to step
I don't
up.
understand
I'm
that
good
one.
with this in the vocal leadership role.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that one. He needs to take control of that offense. You know, Diggs is gone, Davis is gone, Morris is gone. Get in there and bark.
Yeah. And that's
I'm good
it
with
for that.
So there's one that I didn't agree with, and that was Shakir. So if I'm going to say someone I want to see step up this year, it's probably going to be Solomon, the rookie.
Okay.
Like he comes from the NCAA where he was the the leader in sacks. He is technical from a pass rush standpoint. I need him to step up and show he can do it on the big stage. Man, if we could get another elite pass rusher in there in that rotation, and I'd love it to be a rookie. Let's get a rookie guy. Let's just hit on one of these guys finally. That just
absolutely
bursts on the scene and is just a menace. So I'm open to Solomon.
You ready for mine? And you're going to agree with this. You're going to totally agree with this. Tyler Bass.
Fuck yes. Thank you. That's probably who I should have said. Step up and make your fucking kick.
I mean, man, dude. It's like you got paid, bro. Like, come on, man.
Jesus.
I mean, stop kicking out of bounds. Make your field goals. Do your job as a kicker, man. That's all we ask. We don't want.
I don't want to be Sam Martin. I want it to be the rookie.
Oh God, no! Please, yeah.
I want it to be the rookie that wins.
Me too. The guy from
Browning.
The other San Diego State.
Yeah. Yeah, Browning. I want it to be Browning.
The wrong one, but I'll take him because he actually was pretty good in college. So,
Joey says he needs Allen to make fewer interceptions, be a little bit smarter with the ball. You know what? But I also love that Josh takes the chances and gives his guys. I think where this year's receivers versus last year's receivers, those 50-50 balls, we have 6'3", 6'4" guys now going after them rather than 6-foot guys. Like Davis was not a 50-50 guy. And no, I would say probably about 6 or 7 of the interceptions that Josh threw was Davis just gave up on.
Oh, I meant to tell you this, and I'm glad you brought that up. So I was so bored because I just want to watch football so bad. So I watched Week 18, Buffalo Bills, Miami Dolphins for the AFC East title championship, whatever for the
Yeah.
And what a game, Ben! That was not pretty at all. And there was a particular bro watching back that game. No, I'm not even joking. I almost picked up my phone like it was. Like to tell you what the fuck, like I was caught up in the moment where how we normally do. We're like, you know what play it was? We were down, and we threw it. It was right before half, and Allen threw a pretty pass to guess who? James Cook.
He dropped it
in the end zone, and then we don't pick up the touchdown. Remember?
Yeah.
Yard short. We go in halftime down. So dude, I almost text you like, what is James fucking James?
What the fuck was that first interception? When, it was basically a replay of the Eagles game, right? So Josh throws it to the center, and Gabe goes left. So this time Josh throws the left, and Gabe goes center. It was like those two were just not on the same page.
Dude, and then the one where Gabe trips over his own feet.
Yeah.
And Allen throws
and falls down, throws it, give him a 50-50 shot at the end zone, and he trips over his own feet. And matter of fact, he hurt himself on that play and didn't play.
I know
again.
he didn't come back in, right? Yeah.
Like
dude,
done for the year. No more game.
Like I challenge you to go back and watch that, right? If you're ever bored, That is
I've
a
seen it.
stressful game. That is a stressful game to watch.
You know who was the
Again.
hero of that game? Hardy. Punt return.
Yeah, and Trent Sherfield, because Trent Sherfield doesn't make that funky catch.
Yeah, but he also dropped two.
No, I get it, but we were so flat at that point. Remember, we were dying for a touchdown. That could have been intercepted, right? Because it hit off the helmet, right? Could have went either way. But you're right. Hardy is what turned that game around with that return, that punt return for a touchdown, 98 yards, I think it was, or 95, whatever it was. But man, that game was stressful, bro. Going back and watching that game.
Yeah.
It was a stressful game.
Ben comes in and asks, how can rookies step up? What are they stepping up from? From NCAA, from the college days. Come in and just be a menace. That's what I want to see him. I'm hoping, like, I see so much potential in what that guy can do in the NFL. I hope McDermott gives him a shot at really doing it. I really do. The dude is a menace on the football field.
I think it will depend on how his preseason, when the lights are on, when he's going against, because every player plays different when the light, when they're going against a different team, other teams. Yeah, it's just a different. So I think it, like, if I'm McDermott, I'm giving that dude every opportunity in preseason. I'm giving him more snaps. I'm seeing what we got in the kid. If that guy is electric in preseason, then you may have something. If he's not, then he needs more work. You know what I mean? Then we got to really, put that work in with our coaching staff. So
yeah, interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out.
Absolutely.
All right. So next week when we get back here, Tommy, the veterans will have reported, and we'll have started to talk about actual football.
Yeah, and then I think preseason, 2 weeks away after that? I think, if I'm not mistaken.
I think so
Right, August
preseason
6th.
So yeah, like isn't it's the 6th is a Tuesday? Isn't it like August 2nd or 3rd?
Let me see here. Hold on. You can look it up. I'm sure you can find it.
Yeah, give me a second.
Because I know you got the Hall of Fame game, right? Which is
that might be that weekend.
Right, which is earlier. Hall of Fame weekend. So yeah, so that game's August 1st, right? The Texans and Bears. And then you got preseason August 8th.
Oh, the 2nd is the blue and red scrimmage, right?
Yeah. So we our first game's the 10th against the Bears in Buffalo. So at 1 p.m.
10th, okay.
Yeah, the 10th.
Yeah.
So we're about what?
3 weeks away?
3 weeks away? Yeah. So it's right around the corner.
So next week will be 2 weeks away. So when we meet next week, the following week will be the red and blue. And then on the 10th will be our first preseason game. So we're back to it.
Yeah, man. We're right back to it. So
matter of fact, I think our first padded practice is on the 25th.
Yeah, man. That's when shit gets real, man. That's when
So that's next Thursday.
Yeah. I can't wait, bro. I can't wait. Because then I get to start doing my videos again, man. I've been missing doing those videos, training camp videos. So guys, man, it's been a fun Friday night with you guys, man. Kicking it with you. It goes
fun off season with you guys. Football starting.
Yeah, dude. We finally got here, guys. So we appreciate you guys tuning in. And we'll be back on next Friday. Obviously, you guys know Wednesday is Mafia Talk, and then Tuesday is Wrestling, Nuclear Heatwave. So if you tune into those guys, support those guys, support us, support this channel. And we are out of here, man.
Go Bills.
Bills Mafia. Peace out. Go Bills. Peace. All right, let's get that outro. All right, let's get that outro. Let's get that outro going.
Okay.
All right. See you later.
I hate that.